The cuteness overload alert has been activated because one of the cutest things about hamsters is definitely the way they can stuff food into their cheeks. But there are some pretty interesting reasons why they do this, and we're going to talk about those today. So this whole cheek thing, it's one of the most fascinating features of hamsters. And to be honest, it's hard not to melt your heart when you see them trying to run around with their cheeks totally stuffed with food. It looks absolutely adorable. But these little guys aren't just stuffing their cheeks for fun. No, sir. These cheek pouches are an important part of their survival strategy. Just think about it. If a tiny little creature like a hamster wants to survive in a world full of hungry predators, it needs every advantage it can get. And these little guys have evolved to have a trick up their sleeves, or should I say, cheeks. These cheek pouches can extend from the mouth all the way to the shoulders, acting as a mini natural backpack. So, here's what happens. The hamster finds some food, grabs it with its mouth, and uses its cheeks to push the food back towards its shoulders. It's like a little conveyor belt for their mouths. Once the food is in place, the hamster can close off its cheek pouch with special sphincter muscles, keeping the goods secure and snug. With the food tucked away, the hamster is ready to make its move. It scurries back to its burrow, avoiding the clutches of any potential predators. And when it reaches the safety of its underground home, the hamster can finally relax and enjoy its hard-earned meal. And the best part? There's no need for Tupperware or plastic bags. The hamster's cheek pouch is a reusable, sustainable, zero-waste food container. How eco-friendly is that? You might be wondering how much food can these little guys actually stash in their cheeks? Well, it's quite a lot. Hamsters can stuff their cheeks full of grains, seeds, vegetables, and other dry foods. In fact, they can carry up to their own body weight just by stuffing their cheeks. That's like carrying a backpack that weighs 10 pounds. So why exactly do hamsters do this? Why not just eat the food right away, or bring it back to the nest in smaller portions? Well, it's all about efficiency and survival. In the wild, hamsters need to quickly collect food and carry it back to a safe nest. They don't have time to make multiple trips, especially with predators lurking around every corner. By being able to fill their cheek pouches with plenty of food and bring it all back at once, hamsters can save themselves time and energy. Plus, storing food in their cheeks allows them to keep an eye on their stash. They can count the number of grains or seeds in each cheek pouch, which helps them keep track of how much food they have. Now, you might be wondering why hamsters don't just eat the food right away if they have it with them. Well, it's simple. Eating the food would require stopping what they're doing, finding a quiet spot, and taking the time to eat properly. But hamsters are always on the lookout for danger. Taking time to eat means leaving themselves vulnerable to predators, so they prefer to stash the food and eat it later in the safety of their burrows. When food is scarce, hamsters will sometimes store large amounts of food in their cheeks for long-term storage. They will then bring the food back to their burrows and hide it in secret stashes. This allows them to survive times when food is hard to come by. And it also gives them a way to feed their babies when they're too young to go out foraging on their own. Another reason why hamsters stuff food into their cheeks is because they can only eat certain types of food. For example, hamsters cannot eat meat, so they must stick to a diet of grains, seeds, and vegetables. By storing food in their cheeks, they can carry back the types of food they can eat, rather than waste time eating something they can't. Some hamster species also use their cheek pouches to carry soft materials like paper or cotton to build their nests. In fact, during the winter months, hamsters may gather materials from outside their burrow to line their nest and keep warm. By storing these items in their cheeks, they can carry more than they would be able to with their paws. Now you're probably curious about how hamsters manage to keep the food inside their cheeks without it spilling out. Well, it's all thanks to some nifty adaptations. First off, hamster cheek pouches don't produce saliva, which could make the food soggy and hard to store. Instead, the food stays dry and clean in their pouches, making it easier to transport. But there's another trick up their sleeves. When hamsters close their cheek pouches, they basically turn them inside out. This creates a sealed compartment where the food stays put. Even when they're running around their cages or playing with their hamster wheels, The food stays securely inside their cheeks. And speaking of hamster wheels, have you ever wondered how much exercise a hamster can get if it just runs on its wheel all day? Well, it turns out that a hamster can run up to 5 miles per hour on its wheel. That's like sprinting for these tiny creatures. If a hamster were to run on its wheel at this speed for an hour, it would have covered a distance of 5 miles. But don't worry, hamsters don't usually run at top speed all day. They take breaks, and they're not trying to break any land speed records. But it's still impressive what these little guys can do when they're in their element. Speaking of running, have you ever noticed how fast a hamster can run? These little guys are like furry lightning bolts zipping around their cages. In fact, hamsters are the world's fastest rodents, reaching speeds of up to 20 miles per hour. At that speed, a hamster could run the length of a football field in just under 6 seconds. But don't expect your pet hamster to do that on a regular basis. They usually only reach these speeds when they're trying to escape a predator or when they're playing. Now let's go back to our hamster cheek pouch facts. Did you know that a hamster's cheek pouches are actually modified skin flaps? These pouches are made of a thin layer of skin that is connected to the hamster's mouth and can be expanded as needed. The skin flaps are flexible and can stretch to accommodate a large amount of food. But they're also strong enough to keep the food secure and prevent it from spilling out. It's like having a built-in backpack that can expand and contract as needed. Pretty handy for a little hamster on the go. So the next time you see your hamster with its cheeks bulging out, just remember that it's not just being cute. Your hamster has some serious survival instincts and some amazing adaptations that allow it to stuff food into its cheeks and zoom around its cage. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a quick thumbs up before you go. Until next time, happy cheek puffing.